The Final Furlong podcast is proudly brought to you by Jeff Banksbet.
Welcome on to the weekend preview on the Final Furlong podcast. I'm Emmet Kennedy, joined by the experts as usual on a Thursday. We've got Andy Newton, we've got Peter Michael. You should be following them both on X, but for the purposes of this show, you don't need their expertise, you need mine. Why? Because if you followed me last week, you'd have had 20-1 winner Royal Margot, you'd have had 7-2 winner Jello, you'd have had 11-2 winner Joyeuse, and you'd have had 25-1 winner... actually no, he was second. Whistle in the Dark. We knocked it right off last week, baby! Shut the lights out! It's not quite a trip to Dubai, but it will do for a weekend in Doncaster. Thank you for the kind words on social media. It's much appreciated. Hopefully you followed us in last week. And hopefully we've got some good betting opportunities for you this week. There's a couple of horses I'm quite excited to talk about. We will begin with the only race we're going to talk about at Wincanton, which is the Champion Hurdle Trial. It's the Kingwell Hurdle, and Burdett Road is a red-hot favourite with Jeff Banksbet to go and get the job done. He is the 13-8 on favourite. He's shortened even more since we started recording the show. Golden Ace 11-4 for the Cheltenham Festival winner who beat Brighter Days Ahead last year. Brentford Hope for Harvey Durham is a 6-1 shot. Hansard in there for the Noel Feely Racing Club at 20-1. Peter Michael, who is going to win the Kingwell Hurdle? Does Burdett Road just blaze a trail, make all, burn them off and win?
Yeah, I think he's going to be hard to beat. Looking at the prices, you would think Brentford Hope is probably the value there, but I do think Burdett Road. I wouldn't back him at that price. I might put him in a double or something, but I do think it'll be very hard to beat. To be honest, the last race, Brentford Hope ran in when he was second to Constitution Hill. He was only beaten 3 lengths, but he was only 2 lengths in front of Spirits Bay, who had ran terribly a few days before that. So you can't. I mean, obviously we know Constitution Hill won as he liked, but, sometimes a horse can win as I like, and it can still be a good run to finish 7 or 8 lengths behind them. But you always have to look at what's behind horses like that, and beating Spirits Bay by 2 lengths doesn't take much doing for this type of class. So, yeah, look, I think Brentford Hope has it to do. Golden Ace could be the one to put it up to Burdett Road, but 8-13 is the right price, but he's by far the most likely winner.
Yeah, I agree. I do think, though, he's rated £6 superior. He has to give £8 to Golden Ace, and surely this drop back to 2 miles, Andy, just does the job for her. Like at the prices now, if we're recording this morning, and it was the even money Burdett Road, I'd have gone, oh yeah, Burdett Road just goes and wins. But at 11-4, I think Golden Ace with Jeff Banksbet is the way to play this now.
Yeah, I mean, you have to sort of worry why Golden Ace is on the slight drift. It's not a massive drift, but I think it was probably 2 or this morning or yesterday. Burdett Road, like you said, was even money. But I just think it will literally pan out as you said it. I think Burdett Road will just, blast out in the lead. I think, Wincanton, it will suit it down to the ground, flat track, tight. It's been a great race for favourites this. I think sort of 10 of the last 21 of jollies have gone in. And there is a case to be made, Golden Ace to drop back in trip potentially will suit it, but it just hasn't quite gone on, has it, from that Cheltenham win that a lot of people were saying was a fluke. Obviously it backed it up winning at Cheltenham, the April meeting as well, but I know it's been running over a tad further. Lucky Place has done it a couple of times, but I don't know, you take the mare's allowance into account, then it has got a bit in hand on Burdett Road. But look, if Burdett hadn't have fluffed that last at Kempton on Boxing Day, then I think it was 6.5 lengths behind Lossie and about 9 lengths behind Constitution Hill in the end. So it would have been half that, if not less. And like Peter said, I mean, Brentford Hope got within 3 lengths to Constitution Hill in the uni bet, but look, that could have been 33 lengths, but was just like coasting,
there was no second.
It? So
there was no second that day.
Exactly, and then Peter made a great point. Look at the third. Look at how he's only just beaten a fairly average horse in third. So look, Burdett Road wins this. I think Golden Ace obviously and Brentford Hope will fight out for the second, but it was bordering on that material, but not at 8-13 now. And I think there's a reason why it's been backed. I think it's just going to go out in front and play the hare, and it won't get caught. Personally.
Yeah, I think he's going to be hard to reel in, but at the prices, I'm going to go with Golden Ace. Drop back to 2 miles is going to suit. The weight allowance that she's getting as well is going to suit. I just hope Lorcan Williams is able to ride this horse with the confidence he rode her. Even if he rides her with the confidence he rode her in the Raquel hurdle, he rode her like she was going to win that race, and she just didn't see it out towards the end of it against a pretty strong stayer in Nicky Henderson's horse. And the Gary Moore horse Salver has come out and run a big race against Nemean Lion on his next start. So I like that. And I think this return to 2 miles is going to help. So Golden Ace for me. But if we were recording this morning, I'd have said, take the even money, but Burdett Road goes out, makes all wins. And you might end up getting a bigger price about him on Saturday morning. Remember, you can take advantage of a 10% off any net losses back after your first month of betting. If you sign up for a new Jeff Banks account right now using your promo code FFP500, you can stream British and Irish racing for free on the Jeff Banks app and on the jeffbanks.bet website. Loads of goodies like money back offers, best odds guaranteed, double results, all kinds of different incentives, and loads more ahead of the Cheltenham Festival coming up as well. So now is the time to make your switch. Join Jeff Banks Bet, jeffbanks.bet. Right now, use your promo code FFP500 to take full advantage. We'll switch to Ascot for our first race of the afternoon there. We're going to talk about the Reynoldstown Chase, which is shaping up to be a really, really interesting race. It's a rematch of two from Windsor. That was a 3-runner race, and really only 2 of them ever got into it at any point. I think the third horse that day might have improved for the application of cash later in the season. But anyway, Jingo Blue is the even money favourite. Larry's Bar 2-1. The Changing Man, can you trust him after a bout of seconditis and some fair errors as well? A 7-1 shot. Peaky Boy 8-1 on his debut for John Joe and AJ O'Neill. And Leave of Absence at 25-1 shot. Peter Michael, kick it off with you again. Jinko Blue for Nicky Henderson. Is he just going to go and win this race for a team who have won this race a couple of times?
Yeah, it's an interesting race, this, for many reasons. First of all, the horse you mentioned there, Peaky Boy, it's not often you see a horse that's taken away from Nicky Henderson. He was taken away from Nicky Henderson and gone over now to the O'Neills, which is interesting. I think it's pretty sure it's the same owners, am I right? Or am I...
No,
it's
sold.
not. So okay, that makes sense then.
I think there's a story around why, too.
Okay, well, I don't know about that then. So.
Sounds like you know the story, Emmett.
Yeah, so Emmet can tell us.
Frankie Tightlips here. I ain't saying nothing. Johnny Tightlips. Where'd they get you? What do I tell the doctor? Tell him to suck a lemon.
Well, that makes sense. I didn't look into that, to be honest. But yeah, look, the front 2 rematch, as you said, from Windsor. Jinko Blue is £5 worst off at Lowry's Bar for a 2.5 victory. I like Jinko Blue. I think he's a smart horse. Whether he'll be a Grade 1 horse, I don't know. I know he's won a Grade 1. Was it that a Grade 1? Was he not the horse that beat the Elliott horse, Far and Glory?
No, that was the other one. That was Django Bay.
Oh, yeah, I always get them mixed up. Yeah, I always get them mixed up.
Same colours, same trainer, same jockey, different horses.
Yeah.
Both of them JB.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I really like this horse, Jinko Blue. But if you watch that race last time against Larry's Bar, he didn't jump the best. But of course, it was only his second run over fences. So, there's definitely going to be room for improvement and reasons to improve jumping wise. He got in close to a few. Larry's Bar then absolutely, I think, smacked the third last. And that kind of changed the race. And then Larry's Bar was closing him again in the line, but I don't know how much he was doing in front. Now, there's a £5 pull, as I said, which makes it even more intriguing. So there's not much between them on that run with the £5 pull. However, the ground might not be solid Bar, and the ground should be okay for Jinko Blue. And I do like this horse, and I think he's a horse that could develop into a Grade 1 chaser in time. He'll need a bit more experience. So for the factor of the ground, I'm going to side to Jinko Blue, and I think this is the one I'd advise viewers to put in a double with Burdett Road. So I think that's a pretty solid double. I'd be surprised if. Yeah, I think the both of them will win, to be honest. So yeah, I'll be going for him.
Okay, all right. Andy Newton,
are you confident? 3-1.
Well, we're looking at 5-5. I don't know what's Jeff and Jinko Blue. Evens, did you say?
Jeff Banks is even money as we record.
Evens, yeah. So I'd probably wait in the day, and you might get bigger odds. But they're my Jinko Blue for me here. I think he'll win.
Okay. Well, Jeff obviously thinks he's going to win too because he's gone even money. What about you, Andy?
Yeah, I think so as well. I mean, look, the Changing Man. I mean, the Tizzards they've got a fairly good record in this race. I think they've won 3 of the last 6. But look,
Nicky's won 4 since 2001, and I think the Tizzards have won it a few times as well. I'll check it.
Yeah, you might be right. Yeah, but I mean, look, as I say, like the Changing Man. I mean, it hasn't won a race yet over fences, is it? I mean, it's come close. It's like 5 silvers from 9 runs, and you know, it's been chinned a few times in the closing stages. Yeah, Donny last time, and at Ascot when that Victorino done it in the closing stage. Always looked like getting there anyway, didn't it? Venetia's horse, who runs at Ascot as well on Saturday, but. I just think, look, I know Peter said that there's £5 difference, I think, between Jinko and Larry's based on the Windsor run, but I just think that it just looked better the further it went, didn't it, Jinko? You know, as soon as it got up to sort of about a couple of furlongs to go, the 3 miles, jumped well, it's only had 2 runs over fences, bound to improve. That's the one. And look, I think if there was a few more runners, I mean, earlier in the week, there was definitely, 8 or 10 runners in this entered, maybe more. Peaky Boy was probably the each way play here, but not now. There's 5 runners because I don't know. I mean, it'd be sort of bittersweet, won't it? If Hendo's horse, Hendo's horse goes and wins it. Obviously with John Joe. I mean, John Joe actually the last horse to win this race and then go and win the Brown Advisory. Alberta's Run was trained by
John Joe O'Neill. Did he win at 3 Cheltenham Festivals? He won 2 Reiners afterwards, didn't he?
He won 2 on the bounce, didn't he? It was that year where there was a Thursday and every horse, but I think a lot of horses from the previous year won again. I think Bona Vista was one, Alberta's Run, and Big Bucks, and they literally, it was just like a repeat of the 12 months prior. So
good memory.
Everyone was happy that year. Yeah. So yeah, I think that Peaky Boy is slightly down in trip from its run last time out and at Cheltenham, and that form has been franked with that Moon d'Orange coming out and winning. I think it was 4th in that Cheltenham race that Peaky Boy was 3rd in. So there's something there. But I think the main bet, Jinko Blue, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Peaky Boy run a lot better than whatever it is, 8-1 is it, or 6-1 shot?
He's a 6-1 shot, I believe. No, he's not. He's 8. He's 8-1 with Jeff Banks bet. So Peaky Boy is the one I like for this. And I was saying this to a friend of mine last night. He was like, nah, he'll be getting a handicap mark. I'm not so sure. At the time, Highland was in the race as well. Now, I really like Highland for the ultimate. He's not turning up in this race, which is a good thing. He's already had his 5 runs, and he's got a mark of 147, which will make it not easy for him. But I think he's a massive player in the ultimate. But the last time we saw this fella, Peaky Boy, run was 3rd to Haughty Calor. He ran on a handicap hurdle at Newbury last week, ran pretty well, placed for the Curtis Yard. Moon d'Orange, as you mentioned, has come out, finished 2nd, probably to Paul Nicholls' best horse in the Waterside, who's now out for the season, and then goes and wins the valuable handicap on Trials Day at Cheltenham. He was only beaten 3 lengths off a £7 higher mark from his first run over fences, which was a novice handicap, which he won over 2 mile 4. He's unexposed. He's only had 6 starts under rules. He's won 4 of them. He's been sent off favourite for every single start, which is interesting because he was with Michael Scudamore for 2 and then with Nicky Henderson. And yet each time he's been on a racecourse, he's been sent off favourite. So obviously his horse is held in pretty high regard. John Joe and AJ have him now. They had a big winner last week with Monbeg Genius for these owners. And he's had a time form of 163p, only £4 below Jinko Blue, £3 below Larry's Bar. And watch that Windsor race back. Larry's Bar should have won. If he doesn't make the mistake 3 out, he probably does. And Jinko Blue can improve for his 3rd run of the season, and he might improve going up a trip as well. There's all manner of reasons to be excited about him. I completely get why Peter is so excited about him. I don't think Peaky Boy has that much to improve to get there. And at 8-1 with Jeff Banks bet, I will take him. He's an absolute certainty.
Do you not think he was very disappointing last time? I fancied him last time out. I tipped him up, and I thought that was a poor run.
I really did. It dropped, there was 3 mile 1.5 for Furlong, wasn't it? So
but that should have suited him.
It was a career best ever, mate.
Yeah, but I thought I really fancied him for that day, and the race before that, if I'm thinking right, hold on, I don't think that race has worked out great. I think he has it to do, lads, against these 2, especially the favourite. I really do.
Well, maybe.
But look, you're getting a bit of value at 8-1.
Maybe he is in here to get a handicap mark, but if he is, to what end? Because the only race he can then go for is the National Hunt Chase. So that's the restricted now to what, 1-0 to 145, which The rules of that, by the way, are confusing me because I think he's actually qualified for it already. I think you only have to have had 2 runs over fences. You need to be rated higher than 120, and you have to have finished placed over 2 miles 7, which he's done. So he doesn't actually need to run again, unless this is just get him out and wheel him out. But I don't think he'll be suited to 3.5 miles at Cheltenham. Whereas, I'm not telling you he'll win the Brown Advisory. I'm not telling you he's going to beat Ballyburn. I don't think he needs to improve that much to be a contender. And I don't think this is as good a race as it looks. Like, it basically, it's completely hinging on the 2 from Windsor. And
yeah, I get you. What you're coming from, the value. Yeah, he's value. I get
Johnny Who
from in that regard.
Johnny Who never got going that day. It's a 3-runner race where they both made mistakes. So it's entirely possible that at least one of Jingo Blue or Lowry's Bar decks one. So I'm going to take a tilt on him. And the John Joe O'Neill team just seemed to be a different
You're the man in form, so.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, they are the flying this year.
We'll see.
It's definitely the value. It's definitely the value out of the 5, isn't it? I mean, yeah. Obviously, Jinko's going to carry the bulk of the interest, and it's going to be in a lot of doubles and trebles and stuff. But yeah, I mean, 8-1. I don't think it'll be 8-1 a day, unless I'll be amazed because, I mean, the changing man hasn't even won a race over fences. I don't know how it's a bigger price than that personally. But.
Yeah, he's got ability, Andy. But I mean, like, what would you be doing backing him? I don't understand why. This is almost certainly a race that I'm going to be kicking myself going, why didn't I just listen to Peter and just go at Jingo Blue? It was so bloody obvious. But Peaky Boy for me. We'll go to Haydock for the middle distance.
The way I'm picking and the way you're picking, there's only going to be one winner of it.
Form is temporary, class is permanent, Peter Michael. And it's just get it out of your system now, son. So that it's all right for Imperial Cup weekend and then to tear it up for Cheltenham for maximum profits.
There we go.
Haydock, the middle distance veterans race. Not the Voltas, I'll say it quickly. It's 5-2 favourite. Eaton Kalina is 130, but it doesn't really matter what prices they are because the winner is already there on the screen. Whistle in the Dark, 6-1 off a mark of 120. Good night, good luck, see you later. He goes and wins, particularly on soft ground. Andy Newton, how far does he win by?
Well, yeah, that was the one, wasn't it, last week? That that was the dream. The beach acca would have been landed. So hats off to you for that. It was so, and
unbelievable.
You know what? It looked like it for a bit, and then obviously just got a bit outpaced in the in the home straight, didn't it? And then we sort of knew our fate. But
of all horses, bloody Lamilos is the one who bounces back as well. Oh man,
yeah, and it was like, and they pulled quite a way clear of the others as well, I think, didn't they? From memory, but yeah, I mean, look, the money's coming. I mean, Emmet didn't believe me, but when I looked this morning, it was 10-1 when it got declared. I mean, that just completely. I'm not surprised. It's there was 7 6s. Now I don't know what Jeff was saying there, but I'm now seeing 5s, 9-2. And look, I wouldn't even be surprised if it goes off favourite personally. Come the day. So we'll see. But yeah, it's 100% got a great shout. The fact that they're bringing it out 7 days after tells you that the horses come out of the race well, and you can pick a few holes in the others. Really, I mean, the Flyer Begley and that Nocta Velatus obviously ran against each other last time, first and second. I think there's a very similar weight pool, if not anything, between the two. I think it's exactly the same, if anything. So I'm not quite sure why the Flyer Begley is a slightly bigger price. The Edgar Wallace, I think, was back in third that day. Does get a significant weight pool with both of them. I think £9 and £10. So I think away from Whistle in the Dark, the Edgar Wallace has got to be the value at 7-1, just to make up. I think it was beaten. I think it was about 8 lengths or something behind the two. But like I say, it's getting £10 and £9 from both of them. So Whistle in the Dark and Edgar Wallace for me.
Whistle in the Dark. Be brave. Be brave. He just goes and wins.
Turn your lights off.
I can't remember Laura Morgan ever throwing him out this quickly before, but the fact that she is just tells me. I can't believe he was dropped £2 for that run. It's like, all right, don't ask any questions, just accept the handicapper's kindness. Thank you very much.
Was he not running? I'm just guessing here because that couldn't make sense for him to be dropped £2. Was he not running out of the handicap possibly last time?
I think he might have been actually.
Because I think he's probably going up in the weights, and maybe that's why they're forced to kind of run him. That's what I'd guess.
Yeah,
but I could be way off here.
You know the way it normally says up plus.
Yeah, long
such.
handicap. Yeah.
There's no mention of that. So he ran off 122 last week on Saturday. Runs off 120.
Well, hold on now. Are you paying the extra fees to get all that information, Emmet?
Oh my
from
God.
the Racing Post?
Oh yes, I must log in and press plus.
Yeah.
And then even though you've logged in, you still have to do something.
Because they couldn't put him £2 down for pulling.
No.
They couldn't. He couldn't. He would have gone up, I would have imagined.
Official rating.
I can't see it either.
Official rating 122. Now official rating 120.
Yeah, that is weird. So I'd imagine
because he carried 10 stone 3 last time, didn't it? So it would have been less.
Yeah,
than
no,
that.
he couldn't have gone down
handicap.
for that. Yeah.
No, but
This
anyway,
thing.
I mean, he likes it.
This thing is an absolute, he is a bank. Gamble responsibly. BeGambleAware.org. This thing is an absolute stone cold solid moral for every single multiple that you're doing over the weekend. It's just, I nearly fell off the chair when Andy said to me, "Oh yeah, he's 10 to 1." I was like, what? It didn't make any sense.
That win.
It did not make any sense. So yeah, look, I'm obviously with him there for sure. All right, we'll switch to Ascot. 225 for the Betfair Exchange handicap hurdle. The betting with Jeff Banks Bet is headed by the Harry Fry Altabelli, who, if we can bring up the screen, this is why you sometimes need a director, or you just need Trish in the background doing all this, but Trish is away today. Altabelli, 4 to 1. Joy Machan is the same price. Patriarch, 7s. A Classic King for Emma Lavelle is an 8 to 1 shot. Country King, 11 to 1. This is one you're quite keen to talk about, Peter Michael. Who do you like here?
Yeah, I can see Altabelli going off half the price he is in this race. I can see him going off under 3 to 1. He's been well back the last twice. 2 runs ago, they absolutely hammered him in the betting, and he got going too late, and they stuck cheek pieces on him to go with the tongue tie and upped him up a few furlongs in trip. And he won comfortably last time. He's up 5 for that. But he's the class act in the field. There appears to be a decent pace on, which will be important for him. So I think he'll get that. And I can just see him definitely shortening up from 9 to 2. I think that's a very good price. What price is he with Jeff? Sorry, because I can't see, because it's so. What you're putting up there is quite small. Is he 4 to 1 with Jeff?
4 to 1 Altabelli with Jeff Banks Bet.
Yeah, I can see that definitely being shorter in the
Monty
day.
wants in on it as well. Monty wants some of the 4 to 1 too.
I think he has a serious chance. You have to respect the skeleton horse, Joyous Machine, who used to be trained by Paul Nolan. He's got to have a good chance. But the other one I'm keen on as well is Classic King at 10 to 1. What you said, I think he's 8 with Jeffs. Is that right?
Yes, 8 to 1.
Yeah. So those are the 2 I'm keen on in this race. The fast pace will suit this horse as well. Absolutely hacked up the last time. This was the one that would have, a lot of my members would have won serious money if not Whistle in the Dark, sorry, Mick Walking in there hadn't knuckled over and landing. We would have all been waiting on this one for about 10 or 20 grand at 10 to 1, and he pissed in by 6 lengths. So I still have that in the back of my mind. I had to rewatch the race again today, even though I had him the last time, because I really couldn't watch the race, if you know what I mean, because it was so painful. But yeah, look, that horse is overpriced at 8 to 10 to 1. I can also see that going off shorter, and the fast pace is going to suit that horse. He's improving. He's not a chaser. They tried him a few times over fences. He won one time over fences, but he can't jump them. Just can't jump them. And it's even remarkable that he won a race over fences off 122. So he's got to, now he is stepping up in class. He's taken better horses on here, but he's definitely a nice price. So they're my 2 against this field. And then, to be honest, I'd be surprised if one of them doesn't win. And you could even get the forecast with the 2 of them.
Oh, I'm liking that. Quick question for you.
Yeah.
Do you have any concern about the fact that the last 4 flights of hurdles were omitted when Classic King won last time out?
As I said, I did watch the race live, but you know yourself, when stuff like that happens, your head's kind of melted. I rewatched it today. No, he jumps hurdles better, obviously, than fences. So I don't really have an issue with him over hurdles. So he gets over them fine. I don't think that'll be an issue for him, you know. But I don't know who my pick would be over between the 2 of them. But if I had to nail my colours in mass, I'll go with the classier horse, Altabelli. But I'd definitely be advising anyone to bet the 2 of them. And a small reverse exacta as well.
Timeform are highlighting Emma Lavelle as a hot trainer right now. She's had a couple of winners in the last few days. I think this fella wins. if you watch him early on, he was jumping fine. He jumped perfectly fine. Now, the fact that it basically becomes a glorified bumper for the last 4 flights been omitted is just joke shop stuff. But he has absolutely powered through that race. He's stone last. Well, second last. As they're coming towards the end of the race, like into the final 2 furlongs. And he just murders them.
Wouldn't that have been a nice one to win 10 grand on or 20 grand? That would have been a lovely one.
Sick for you that day, mate. Sick for you. But like that was a hands and heel ride from Rex Dingle. £5 rise might just underestimate him. I think he's a huge player in this race. And 8-1 with Jeff Banks bet sounds very, very appealing to me, and I'm even more confident now that you like him. What about Andy Newton? Who do you like? And do either of them happen to be a horse that we just mentioned?
I'm more intrigued of you having a cat on your shoulder for the whole of that, which is
am I like a Bond villain here or something?
You're like a pirate.
Good evening, Mr. Bond.
Bond, yeah. What's the name of the cat?
This is Monty.
Oh yeah, Monty. Right. Anyway, look. Before the show, we was all like, "Oh, right, we might have a clean sweep in the 225 at the Betfair Handicap hurdle here." Because it was all around 8-1. But boys, we're not going to have a clean sweep.
Oh, no.
Right? Because Classic King ain't winning this, right?
Oh.
Patriotic is winning this, all right? Okay. Evan Williams horse, right? And I'll tell you why. There's a couple of good stats, all right? 13 of the last 19 have carried 10 stone 13 or less. The 6-year-olds have got a good record on this, 5 and 6-year-olds. I'm going to rule out Auto Belly 7-year-old and that Joyish as well 8-year-old Classic King 7. But more to the point, right? It's a race that we've talked about plenty of times on the poddy. That Josh the Bosch race at Chepstow back in October. All right. Patriotic was 5th in that. Okay, and we all know the spiel. We all know that a lot of horses have come out of that race. Doyen's Quest, Take No Chances. Larry's Bar that we were talking about in a previous race earlier, Active Authority, they've all come out, franked that form, all right. Since then, it was unseated at Haydock in that shoot first race. But last time out, it's this Patriotic, bounced back, came second to, Red Dirt Road. And that horse absolutely sloshed up at Sandown, didn't it, a couple of weeks ago. I think it was the beginning of the month. 1st of February, all right. So that is rock solid form for me. Gets in here with a nice weight, only up £2. Isabel Williams takes 3 off. Done deal. Go and collect. All right. But listen, the only other thing I would note is there's been a bit of money for the Hendo horse here, Le Penisionnaire or whatever you call it.
Yes.
Look, 5 entered in this. And he's come down on this horse here. Nico rides, won last time at Huntingdon. Obviously, this is a big step up. So that would just be interesting. And now I think it was 20s this morning or yesterday, maybe even bigger. Now it's bordering on single figures, I think, 10-1, 8-1. So Jeff will give you 12 on that one. Yeah, I'd be amazed if it's not single figures come the day, to be honest with you. I think the longer trip will suit as well. And look, it's one of those, could be anything sort of Hendo horses, but the fact he had 5 entered and he's pinning his hopes on this one, you've got to take note of that. 100%.
I would absolutely agree. You couldn't just go along with this and make it a clean sweep. You had to go and complicate things.
He just gave us the trifecta there, the 1 for 3rd, because he won't be beating both of mine. Yeah, he just gave us the trifecta.
Listen, I don't care as long as Classic King wins. As long as Classic King wins it, Altabelli is 2nd, and then we've got Andy Source finishing in 3rd. That's
Patriotic.
I'll
keep saying it. Patriotic. Keep saying it.
Classic King gets the job done.
Don't think so. Yeah, or Altabelli, I think. Yeah.
Classic King, Altabelli's a good 2nd, and then we've got Patriotic back in 3rd.
I think that 4-1 Altabelli is go. I can't see that lasting.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I think that's gonna get
more on that to come. Haydock, the Rendlesham Hurdle, Beauport is the 7-4 favourite for this race. Seems short to me, but we'll hear what the lads have to say in a second. Botox Hess seems big for the horse who won this race a year ago, 4-1. He's got a good record at the track. Sounds Russian, was a high-class chaser in his day. 13-2. Nemean Line comes to this race instead of the Kingwell, which is interesting. 13-2. Thunder Rock, 7-1 shot, and any price you want, basically, at least double figures about the rest of them. Peter Michael, what do you reckon for the Rendlesham? Does Beauport deserve to be 7-4?
Good question, Emmet. I think he deserves to be favourite. When I had a look at this, I really couldn't make up my mind who to go for. But I think the allowance that he's getting, the weight that he's getting off the others, kind of swung me towards him. He's probably priced around 7-4, 2-1. I think that's a fair price. But as I said, I'll be putting him up, and I'll be putting him up because he's getting weight from most of them, and the ones that have, that are his main rivals are giving him around £6, and that could be crucial over 3 miles. So I'll be putting him up. Ran a lovely race the last time. I can see what you mean with his profile. 2-1, 7-4. You could consider it short, but I think getting £6 from his main rivals could swing it his way. I don't know if I'd be betting in this race, or I don't think I will. I don't think I'd be tipping up in it, but for the purpose of this show, I have to put one forward, and I think the allowances he's getting and the form he comes into the race in, because he started this season in decent form, I think that could see him over the line, but price is about right.
Okay, you've owned it. Can I use my mouth words correctly? You've owned graded winners. You've race planned. You've been involved with some of the top trainers. If the effective stable jockey of the Nigel Tristan-Davis team went, yeah, I'm off to Wincanton to ride a horse I can't possibly have a hope in hell of riding at the Cheltenham Festival, but I'm going to go and try and win the Kingwell on him, instead of rocking up to Haydock to try and win this race, is that not... Wait, what? Like, he would have been...
Yeah. No, I see your point. That is, you couldn't consider that a positive anyway.
Like, Harry Compton is getting back on Burdett Road at Cheltenham.
Yeah. Well, look, I didn't look into that, to be honest. I didn't even think that far, so that's a very good point you made. But you would be a little bit concerned, saying, why are they not riding this horse that has a super chance in a grade 2? It would definitely wouldn't be positive, but I still will stick with him, Emmet.
I guess the other reason is he doesn't often ride him. It's normally Jordan Naylor who rides him, but he was on board the other day when he was third in a grade 1, and then Crambo did nothing for the form.
Does he have what's his book of rides for the other track? Was it only one ride, did you say?
He's riding Burdett Road, and then obviously Harry will get back on him because he's Harry Cobden.
Yeah.
He's then riding in a handicap chase there, and he has a ride in the maiden hurdle, a handicap chase again, and a handicap chase.
Yeah. Well, look, I wouldn't worry about that too much, to be honest, when you look at it that way, because Burdett Road might not be a bad spare to pick up in Cheltenham if it was a spare available. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you had a chance of picking up a spare at Cheltenham, you'd rather pick it up on Burdett Road than stick with Beauport, and that's nothing against Beauport.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. But Harry Cobden will be back on him. So I just find it odd. I don't...
No, but that's a good point. Good point, yeah.
Yeah, just when you're talking about a 15 to 8 shot, I think sometimes you have to raise an eyebrow. I think Botox Oz will win this race. Andy Newton, again, if I could use my mouth words correctly, he won it last year. That was a pleasing return to form when 4.5 lengths behind Gell Road the other day. It kind of came out of nowhere. He'd been desperate prior to that, but suddenly he's back with a bang. He's 2 from 2 at the track. He'll like the ground. Hopefully the Moore team are back on song. I think he'll go and win.
They had a few winners today now.
Yeah.
It's exactly what I was about to say. You say the Moore team hopefully are back on song. They are on song. They had, I think they possibly had a treble on Monday. They definitely had a one winner today. Thursday we're recording this, and possibly one in between that. So look, they've had a interesting season by sort of Gary's own admission, but this will sort of ease the blow a little bit. And I think Botox, look, the ground could be a bit softer. We all know it likes a bit softer, but it has one on good to soft, so I'm not too worried about that. Obviously bolted up in this last year. And it looks like it's sort of coming to the boil, like you said last time. Emmet, that third to Gale Road at Cheltenham was a massive step forward, and it's like this race has been a big target. And I don't know personally. I mean, look, it's probably like Peter said. What is it getting? The weight, it's getting £6, isn't it? And that's the reason. But look, Beauport, I just think like 2-1 or whatever it is, 7-4, 15 to 8. That kind of price. And Nigel Tristan-Davis yard at the moment, 2 from 28. Little question marks there. Yeah. This has been a shocking race for favourites as well. 2 of the last 22 Okay, only 2 of the last 22 favourites have won this. And look, and also the jockey of Botox has Caelan Quinn. We all love him. Well, I do. I think he's a great jockey. His record here over hurdles, his strike rate at Haydock is 50%. Right, 4 from 8. Okay, that's solid. All right, it's not a massive sort of representation there, but still, solid return there, 50%. So yeah, Botox has. Look, what else we got in there? Thunder Rock can't have that. It just doesn't win enough. Nemean Lion is going to go to the Kingwell that he won last year, but I think there's talk of the stayers at Cheltenham, isn't there? So possibly testing the water a little bit to see whether this 3-mile trip that it's trying, I think for the first time, is within range. And they'll go from there. But, Nemean Lion's obviously a danger, but another one that will certainly like it if the rain comes. But I don't know, if you check the forecast, I think it's fairly okay at all the tracks this weekend, isn't it? So, Monty's back. Monty, who are you going for?
What do you reckon,
Botox.
Monty? What do you reckon, Monty? Botox has? Botox has? Yeah? Excellent. Okay. Yeah, he says Botox has. He's all over him. He wants a new account with Jeff Banks Bet. He knows that the promo code is FFP500 and it gets him 10% back of any net losses. But there'll be no net losses because the boys are on top form. So, yeah, on we go. He never does this. This is mad. It's just... I think he knows I'm not my best today, so he's like trying to boost me up a little bit. Okay, that's our look at Haydock. Let's switch back to Ascot. We've got 2 more races to go from there. The first of them is the Swinley Handicap Chase. The betting is headed by... Oh, and apologies. There was me thinking I had this already picked up, and I didn't. Because I might have been distracted by Monty. Victorino is the 3-1 favourite from Hashting, 7-2. Snipe is an 8-1 shot, and Sam is the same price, 300 through 5, 10s, and Wise Guy, high stakes player, 10s and 12-1. Peter Michael, 300 through 5 won this race a year ago, and we're getting 10-1 about him. Persuade me why I shouldn't be backing him.
Well, to be honest, the last time we did the show, I said Paul Nicholls was coming back to a bit of form, but I take that back. I mean, at the moment, he'd struggle to train a goat to eat grass at the moment, so I'd be avoiding his horse completely. I don't really have an opinion on this race, if I'm being honest. I found it quite confusing. Hashting did well to win last time, but it was a loose horse, taking horses out. Well, not taking them out, just, making them go to the right, and he got a clear on through, but he was quite far back with about 3-4 furlongs to go. So the step up to 3 miles will suit him. Victorino stayed on strongly again, as he does, but I'll leave him alone off £3 higher mark, but he'd have a chance. I don't really fancy anything in this race. If I was going to take a chance, I might take a chance of something Java Point and Ansam, one of them, but I don't really. I could see Goshen outrunning his odds at 33-1 with Gary Moore's team.
For sure.
Coming back in some sort of good form. But I couldn't really... I don't fancy anything here, I'm afraid to say. But if I was picking one for, for a bit of value, because when you don't fancy anything and if you have to put up something, you have to go for a bit of value, I'd probably go Goshen at a big price, the outside of the field, to small stakes. Would be good to see him back in the winner's enclosure, but, you'd be clutching at a bit, you'd be clutching at straws there, but at least he's a price. But I'll leave this one to you boys. Yeah, you'd be looking at 5 or 10 or max on him, but... Look, I'll leave it to you boys to find the winner of this. I know you boys will have it better than me.
300 through 5 wins this, Andy. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, you're tipping on Paul Nicholls' horse. Wow.
It's a handicap.
Sounds crazy, doesn't it?
It's a handicap, surely. He's only £1 higher than he's winning this race a year ago. Ring rusty on his comeback. That was his first run for 8 months. He recorded the same RPR in that race as he did when winning this a year ago. Harry Cobden only has to go out, make all, burn him off the final turn. He'll keep on staying on. He'll win. Jump them into submission. Good night. Good luck. Bye-bye. 10-1. Easy game.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people might be put off by the 12 stone as well, but it carried 12 stone last year as well, didn't it? So, we know we can do that. And I don't know. I agree. I think, for a horse that's won the race last year, there's only £1 higher. I think it's more of a value. It's like, why is it 10-1? Really, I mean, again, it might come in, on the day and be a bit shorter. But I don't know. It just seems the value call in the race. Personally, I think there's a couple of stats against like Victorino as well. I mean, 13 of the last 14 have been aged 8 or older. So as a 7-year-old, you can put a line through that. Obviously, likes Ascot, we know that, but it's up £3. So, and the is it John Joe trains at Hastings?
Yeah.
My screen's gone to dead here, but yeah, I mean that's probably the improver in the race. And then off 10 stone 8, that's interesting. I mean, its jumping was a little bit iffy whiffy last time, but it didn't fall and it survived, and it will learn a lot from that. So, and I think that that looks interesting as well. Probably the step up will help up in grade, but like I say, the lightweight, it's interesting. 10 stone 8 there, so that's probably of the one at the top of the market. But yeah, 300 through 5's got to be the value, surely.
All his best form comes going right-handed. Some of his best form comes in January, February. He's won 4 of his 5 starts at this time of year. Just go out, make all Cobden, burn them off the final turn, jump them into submission. Good night, good luck, see you later. Take the prize money, and it might be this whole Nichols thing that's just sort of like reverberating around the whole industry. I mean, maybe that is the reason that some of these horses now are just going to be a little bit, a point or two bigger than they should be, and at some point you've got to think he's going to turn the corner. Yeah, well,
he's going to turn the corner at Cheltenham. He's lining them up for Cheltenham. I'm just messing.
Oh no, didn't you hear? He's going to win the Grand National.
Right. Okay. Well, look, he will. Andy's right. It's going to change sooner rather than later. He's too good a trader, and one day he's going to end up having 4 or 5 winners and massive odds, and we'll all kick ourselves not having something on some sort of combo bet. Yeah, look, but I don't think it's this week.
The guy's a legendary trainer. He's achieved more. Oh, yeah. He's achieved more in life than I have. And he'll go down as a Hall of Fame trainer. The question is he going to get back to that level?
He will. Look, he's got the backing. He's got big owners. It's just a matter of time before he has top-class horses again. But it's not just the top-class horses that aren't running well. It's the normal horses, and a lot of them are underperforming. And that's where I'm worried more for that than, because you can't blame anyone if you're 110, 120 horses are not running to their form or underperforming. That's your own fault, really. But if you want to blame, like horses being bought for 200, 300 grand that people are scouting for him, they are spotting for him, I can understand him, with that angle, but not your everyday horse.
Let's go and take a look at the Grand National Handicap Trial at Haydock, shall we? We've got Jubilee Express as the 9-2 favourite with Jeff Banks bet from Val Dancer 5-1. Yeah, man, 11-2. Gitmaker 6-1, and the winner and undefeated. Well, he has been defeated a couple of times, but returning Haydock champion Royal Pagaille 13-2. We had Jello bouncing back to top form for Venetia Williams a week ago. This fella just walks back into the winner's enclosure again, Peter, doesn't he?
Well, John Bowden taking over, that's got to be a plus in my book. But I 12 stone. Well, it has to be. Let's be honest, it has to be. But there's no two ways about that. Has to be. Yeah, look, he's a class horse in the race. There's absolutely no doubt in that, and hence he's 12 stone. Won't be easy for him, but he'll have his chance. Nice enough price if anyone is a fan of the horse and wants to give him a chance in a handicap company, and I can see why. But I'm going, Jubilee Express and Val Dancer, as we know, ran in the Welsh National, and they got whacked for putting up 2 good performances. Val Dancer got £12 for winning, and Jubilee Express got for coming second. So, or I don't know if any of them were running out of the handicap that day, but they're running quite a higher mark than they were. So for that reason, I'm going to look for something that is around the mark that they've been competitive of before, that haven't, maybe used what they have in hand already. Now, I'm not saying those horses can't progress. Of course they can. Jubilee Express, that was his first run of the season. Sam Thomas excels with these type of horses, and he was finishing very, very fast. So I can see why people would take him out of that race. And Val Dancer, I don't think it's a horse at the moment that wins by too far. So I can also see the angle for people wanting to keep him on side, and they've got major chances. They're proven stairs. They're horses that probably will win another big staying handicap before the season's over. But I'm going to go with the Gavin Cromwell horse, Yeah Man, here. Gavin, as we all know, is absolutely lethal when he sends him over to the UK for big races. And this horse, he's won before for Gavin in the UK and ran some big races. He's a bit higher now than those runs, but he's still running off a mark of 144 in the UK, which I think is doable for him. This is his third run of the season. He's probably going to be peaking for this race. Whilst he did run, I think it was at Thursdays the last time.
Yep.
I think he'd have come on for that a little bit, and he didn't run badly at all. He was beaten 24 lengths, but he finished fourth. The front two were well clear of the rest. I can see him putting up a big display here, and I think the ground will also suit him. The quicker ground, he'd appreciate that. And I don't think there's much rain forecast for Haydock, so he's going to be the one I put forward in this to put it up to the top two in the betting.
Okay, second to Victorino at Ascot a year ago, or I should say a season ago.
Yeah.
Really nice comeback run at Navan.
Should have won that day, by the way. He was given a poor ride.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Definitely would excuse the run at Goran Park. He was sent off the 92 joint favourite for that, and he was an 8-1 shot for the Irish Grand National. So clearly, he's a horse they think is going to win a big handicap, and this may very well be the race for him. If you agree with Peter Michael, 11-2 is the price that Jeff Banksbet will give you about Yaman for the Grand National Trial handicap at Haydock. It's Royal Pagaille for me. Andy, for you?
I don't know. Yeah, man. Just looks like a bit short to me. 6-1 or whatever it is, 5-1. I can't remember what you said there, but yeah, I mean, up £11. I don't know. Last back-to-back winner was Silver by Nature, so it is a race that has produced back-to-back winners. But look, Grand National Trial, it certainly ain't a trial for the Grand National. I don't think we've ever had a winner of this race go on to win the Grand National. We've had like Sunny Bay come second in the National. Forest Gunner came fifth. I think did actually win this back in the day, but not in the same season as it's one of its Grand National wins. So a bit of back history there, but look, maybe they need to change the name for it or whatever, because it ain't a trial for the Grand National, let's put it that way. Look, Welsh Grand National, fairly good guide. I think 6 of the last 22 winners of this race ran in that race. So, Jubilee Express and Val Dancer obviously tick that box. But that Royal Pagaille is obviously keeping a lot of them, out the handicap or the low weight. So it's interesting to see how that one goes. We all know it loves Haydock, but after its run last time in the Peter Marsh, I mean, I don't know, a leap of faith really backing it. And I love Royal Pagaille as well. I love it, and I feel a bit sort of guilty deserting him. But I don't know, I just think after that last run that I'm going to look for something else. And there's another horse that loves Haydock, Famous Bridge, was actually going all right in this race last year until it unseated. Probably, I don't know, about a mile out, I think it was, something like that. It was about third or fourth, just sort of hunting around on the inside. £3 lower this year. I've noticed there's been a bit of money for it, because that was definitely 12s a couple of days ago. It's now about 7s or 6s. First time cheap pieces. Its record at Haydock is 1-1 in that unseated. And I think it would have been placed in that. And I think it was third last time in that Tommy Whittle here. So all ground is fine. So yeah, Famous Bridge, and possibly the other one to sort of make a case for is that Git Maker. So I think that'll come on for its run last time at Windsor. That was its first run since April. So yeah, hang on, my phone's going. Let's turn it off. So yeah,
that might be the worst ringtone ever.
No, it's an alarm actually. That was telling me to do something.
I thought that was the cat for a minute. No,
that was Monty. That was Monty. But anyway, look. Anyway, Famous Bridge and Gitmaker. They're the two against the field here. All right.
Okay, our last race is the Ascot Chase, where Pic Dory is the 2-1 favourite to go and win it again. Will he be given an easy lead like he was in farcical circumstances this time a year ago? Doubt it. Corbett's Cross has been well backed, 5-2, 9-4, now 2-1 with Jeff Banksbet. Lompress 5-2 after those funny tactics a year ago. Blue Lord is a 10-1 shot as he goes back up and trip, having won a Clonmel Oil Chase a couple of years ago. La Patreon 14s, and Phlegmatic, the outsider of the whole race, at 100-1. Pic Dory for your close personal friend Paul Nicholls there, Peter Michael. Is he going to win back-to-back runnings of this race? Is he going to enhance his record at Ascot? Or is this where a new form line comes in and Corbett's Cross bounces back into the winner's enclosure?
Well, I can't back a Nicholls horse at the moment, so I've put a line straight through Pic Dory, which at Ascot is a dangerous thing to do. We all know his love affair with the track. So, but I just couldn't back a Nicholls horse at the moment at any price, to be honest, especially short priced. So for that reason, I will just, if he wins, he wins. I'd take him on. And if you're taking him on, There's one or two really. It's Corbett's Cross or La Home Press. So I'm going to leave it for you boys to decide who you think I'd be taking him on with Mark Walsh riding one and Charlie riding the other. But no, Corbett's Cross for me. He's an intriguing horse. If you look at his profile, he won on his first run for Emmet Mullins when Paul Byrne bought him over 2 miles, a mile and 7.5 furlongs. Actually, he actually won. It was the Johnstown Novice Hurdle. The year before that, my horse won that Jason the Militant. So I remember that race well, the winners of that race. And he won that over 2 miles. And he's won 3 miles 6 at Cheltenham and heavy ground. So, not too many horses can do that. Have the speed to win 2 miles on goodish ground and 3 miles 6 at Cheltenham and heavy ground. So he's got the speed for this distance, as we know. As you said, there's been money for him. He's been well backed. He's ran 2 races this year. You can make excuses for him for his first run. His second run, I guess, you can kind of say he was a bit disappointing, beating 21 lengths behind Banbridge in the King George. With the way I'm looking at this race and putting a line through Pic Dory, he'll be the one I'll have to go for. I think he'll travel well. Hopefully he'll jump well. And I think he's the one to beat in this race. And he'll be my selection for the reasons given.
I completely agree with you. He's still only 8. He's eligible to improve for his 3rd run of the season. You can forget his beginning of the season because he's giving weight to Hartwood. He had no chance that day. The King George, he's running ground probably firmer than ideal for him in a race that probably wasn't run to suit him either. His best form comes on softer, heavy ground. He could do a little bit of rain, but I think good to soft to be fine for him. He's 3 from 6 on an undulating track, which is what Ascot is. He's won 4 of his 7 starts going right-handed. Grange Clare West advertised his novice chase form by his big run behind Galopin des Champs from their Grade 1 match at the Christmas Festival a couple of seasons ago, or a season ago. And he ran an absolute blinder on his first run in open company behind Jerry Colomb at Aintree. He's the new form line. He's the new kid on the block. And the way that Emmet Mullins has been talking about him, he really thinks that he can give, not so much beat Galopin des Champs, but certainly give him a bit of a race and something to think about. And for that reason, you want him to go and win this race because you need something to emerge to challenge Galopin des Champs. But I think he will.
There's no challengers.
They're only playing for second. But
yeah, no challengers.
We have to try and build it up in some way. But I think he wins this. I think this is a really good spot for him. And he could be deceptive. That point you made about him beating Fender 50 first time out for him, his record over this distance is actually very, very good. He's going to win.
I can see him going off favourite.
I can too. Yeah. And if you look at him, the fact that Jeff has already gone 2s, Jeff tends to go industry best price about a lot of horses, and this is his opinion, and his trader's opinion. This isn't an algorithm. They're going 2 to 1.
Sure.
So they're expecting him to be the one that's going to be prominent in the betting, and I think Jeff is expecting this fella to go off favourite on the day. Andy, what do you think?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's probably 4 to 1, 5 to 1 earlier in the week, and this was the one that there was a lot of money for. We didn't know that it was going to be sent over until obviously today when the final decks came out, and I think most people thought it would just get scratched, but it hasn't, and it's an interesting bold move. Maybe, I don't know, but I think most people are just going to sort of cling to the fact: trip, ground, track. Will it suit Corbett's Cross after the King George run? And you think, well, Kempton's a fairly tight, it's a very tight track, and it sort of found 3 miles there a little bit too much. So dropping back to 2.5, Ascot is a tight track as well. Let's make that clear. On ground that's going to be fast enough, I don't know. I'm just worried that, it is joint top rated with L'Homme Press, so yeah. I don't know. I think personally, if it does go off favourite, I think it's quite short as it is. I think personally, for a horse that has a few question marks about I know it has one and so on, but just based on that last run at the King George, and especially how we know Pic Dory runs at Ascot, that's just going to go bang, and it's just going to jump well. It loves the track, and it's just going to get L'Homme Press and potentially Corbett's Cross just on the back foot early doors. And it's just, if they can keep tabs with it, then yes, they might run him down in the home straight. But it's just, we all know what happened last year. Everyone was like, what's going on? Where's how come L'Homme Press is so far behind? But that's because Pic Dory was just loves it at Ascot. And and it's massive course specialist. And actually, I think I read it somewhere yesterday or the day before. Paul Nicholls' last Grade 1 winner was in this particular race last year. So we have given him a bit of a hard time again today. But yeah, look, that will end that barren spell if he can win again. But yeah, a whole year with no Grade 1s. Pictory was the last one, and I just think, look, it's a close call. But I know you're against him, but I think Pictory just because we know it loves Ascot, we know it loves this race.
I wonder what Paul Nicholls is going to be like when another Mullins is in the winners' enclosure after Corbett's Cross wins on Saturday.
Well, I don't know. I mean, look, let's not rule out Gary's horse. They're running all right. The Patron was on the runner last week. Supposed to run it in the Denman, and that got pulled out. And we know their horses are running better. And I don't know. Like, Venetia's won this before, but I think Paul Nicholls is the most winning trainer in this. He's won it 5 times, but Venetia won it back in 1999 with Teton Mill. So
he doesn't go right-handed.
Huh?
He doesn't go right-handed, and he's not that good anyway.
No,
I mean, he might be one of the most. He'll go and win now, but he might be one of the most overrated horses in training. He's fine.
Maybe.
He's fine. But he's vulnerable to a young improver, and I think that young improver is Corbett's Cross. Okay, naps, gentlemen. Naps. I got a lucky 63 for the weekend. What are the naps? Peter Michael, what have you got for us?
Well, I'm going to go for that Ascot race. I think Alto Belly and Classic King both have very strong chances. So I'm going to put those 2 up in that race. And then one of the races in the weekend, I'll mention Saturday, Wincanton, the 4:35. I think Badbury Rings will take a bit of beating in that. But I'd also be keeping Pat Anita on my side. I think that's trained by Nichols's. Is that Nichols's daughter? Is it Georgina Nicholls? No. Is that no? Maybe not.
Is it stepdaughter or daughter?
Wait!
Is it his ex-wife?
I thought it was, but
yeah, I think
too many women involved there.
It does ring a bell. I think it might be his ex-wife.
It's his ex-wife.
I don't quote it.
Right. Yeah. There's so many of them at this stage.
It's a
I don't mean
Peter
ex-wife.
James.
Sorry.
It's a Peter James Appleheim scenario.
Yeah. So in that race, I think Badbury Rings will take a good bit of beating, but Patatina will probably be a nice price. I could see that going down whatever it opens, so that'll run well. So yeah, they're the 2 races I'm interested in the weekend, and I'll put up 2 in each. And I'd be surprised if I lose any of them. To be honest, I think they have them covered. Yeah, but now at the moment I'm coming with a health warning, so be careful. February's not going too well.
I mean, god damn, son, that's a hell of a confident thing to go and say there. I'd be surprised if any of them get beat, actually.
Well, I think Alto Belly or Classic King, I think one of them will win that race, and I think Bradbury Rings or Patatina, I think one of them will win that race. So we'll see. You probably won't get one placed.
No, I love the confidence. I really do. And when you're confident, you tend to get it right, which is even better. Andy Newton, your naps for the weekend.
That stupid alarm, by the way, that was just one of the lays that I had to just quickly, because I thought I'd be finished by 7, and anyway, that was one of the lays today.
Did you get it right?
I just had to. Yeah, look, nowhere. We're all right. Where the run continues.
Of course.
But
if you are not at Newt's Daily Lays on X, at Peter Michael on X, at Peter Michael Racing on X, the 2 boys are in tremendous form.
Just to say, actually, now you're mentioning X, I put up something there today for Cheltenham. I'm going to do the 4 days of £5 per day, so 20 quid for the 4 days.
Bargain.
200 quid for the 4 days, but I'm 20 quid for the 4 days, so it might be worth interest just for Cheltenham, because some people mightn't have, be into every daily tips. They might just be interested for the big festival, so it's good value.
Well, I think, did you just say 20 quid for the 4 days?
I'm good. Well, as you know, I do monthly daily tips for month by month. But for Cheltenham, for anyone interested in one-off, I'm doing the 4 days at a £5 each. So it comes to 20 quid for the 4 days if you subscribe. Or if you want to pick 1 or 2 days, it's a tenner a day. But
you're giving your expert insight for the 4 days for a £5 a day.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Well,
did you bump your head?
You can call it expert, or you can call it throwing darts. But there will be research put into it. And as I posted up, there's some people out there charging 200 quid for the 4 days. So, and normally I'd back myself to do as good as them, or if not better. So we'll see. It'll be interesting. But it's a bit of value for anyone looking for a bit of fun for Cheltenham. You get good research for your £5 a day.
I think that's outrageous value, and if you're not taking advantage of it, then I don't really know what to say to you. At Peter Michael Racing on X, and at Newt's Daily Lays on X as well, for that matter. That's
sorry for interrupting you, Andy. Thank you.
Yes, Andy, your bets, please, Andy.
Yeah, but I think Burdett Road and Jinko Blue, they're the obvious sort of double. We're going to go. What race we didn't talk about, the 115 at Ascot. That Hendo's got another one here. Bective Abbey, only because again he had like shitloads entered in this race, and he's come down on this one. One easy at Warwick back in April. That could be anything. Botox has. We talked about that being overpriced in the Rendlesham. Famous Bridge each way in the Grand National Trial, and Patriotic is going to be the. Not the nap. I think. Look, Jinko Blue is going to be the nap, and I think Patriotic's going to be the each way next best, because you guys have scared me with your Classic King, or whatever it was called in that.
Alto Belly as well. Don't forget that one, Andy.
And Alto Belly. All right, Alto Belly.
Okay.
Emmet.
Emmet, give us now. This is what everybody's been waiting for.
Exactly. No one cares about our tips. Everyone wants to eat.
Hold on. Where's my pen? I'll write it down here.
Monty back. Get Monty back now.
Yeah, where's Monty for this? He's going to sleep in the corner. All right, here we go. This is a Super Heinz, Corbett's Cross, 300 through 5, Classic King, Whistle in the Dark, Botox Has, Royal Pagaille, and Peaky Boy. A 20 pence each way Super Heinz pays £304,782.87. A £2 each way accumulator pays £1,059,352.77. No more weekends in Doncaster. We're off to Dubai for the year.
But there'll be no more podcasts. You're going to break Jeff down. There'll be no more podcasts to do, Emmet.
Be like a big apology to Jeff. I'm sure there'll be like a whole load of new account sign-up bonuses, and then like this utter chaos and mayhem amongst the odds competitors. It's like, hang on a second, why do we have so much money going on to Corbett's Cross? Why are the liabilities so much? What's going on?
Yeah, that'll be the last one, won't it?
Be the last leg, yeah. Mark Walsh on the snaff, on the bridle, waving bye-bye to Harry Cobden. Happy days. And I might have to reevaluate if Royal Pagaille goes and wins under Sean Bone. I might have to rethink some of Peter's criticism and start going, actually, Peter, maybe you had to... Well, Andy and I will never relent in our support of Charlie Deutsch. Class act. He was really good at the weekend too. But if Peaky Boy goes in and kicks it off, if I'm right about that, and he goes and gets it off to a nice start, then great. I'll be at Goran Park. Come over and say hello. And hopefully things will have gone well. All right. From Peter Michael, Andy Newton, and me, Emmet Kennedy, thank you for watching and listening to this episode of the Final Furlong podcast. I really hope you've enjoyed it. Hopefully there's more gravy to be found in this episode after last weekend's lavishing splashes of gravy. There's another special with Paul Ferguson on the way, including a £5 discount for your purchase of the Weatherby's Cheltenham Festival betting guide. Publication is coming very, very soon. It broke his heart that Sergino came out the other day because he had all that work done with Sergino. He can explain that to you in the next episode of the show. So I'm looking forward to that. More from Adam Mills on the show and Katie Young very soon as well. From Andy Newton, Peter Michael, and me, Emmet Kennedy. Look after yourself and each other. Enjoy the weekend. God bless.
The Final Furlong podcast is proudly brought to you by Jeff Banks Bet. Get up to £500 refunded as real money for new Jeff Banks online accounts after your first month of betting. Use promo code FFP500 at jeffbanks.bet.